Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant. Today we are at the next topic, that is lesson 4 of our crash course on IQP, and today we are going to see yet another method of attacking the Kingside. So it's related to sacrifice on the h6 square. Let's get to the main position quickly. Today we have got the IQP from the Caro-Kann defense. So e4, c6, d4, d5, e takes d5, c takes d5, c4, the Panopotwinic attack of the Caro-Kann. I have made some videos on this line before also. Black goes nf6, nc3, e6, nf3. Here bb4 is another way, totally different way of playing. nc6 is possible, be7 is also possible. Black goes be7, and now this is an important moment. White has to choose between two ways of play. Either c5 can be played, this is what Botvinnik used to play, and he has got some great games on that. And other plan is to take the bishop to d3, but without wasting the move with dc4. So white has to take c takes d5 for that. So this gets us to the typical IQP position. Of course, knight takes on d5, and here again white has two approaches. One is getting the bishop to d3 quickly, or playing with the bishop on c4, tempting black to take on c3, nc3, bc, and then the d4 pawn won't be weak. That gives us a totally different structure. Black tries to avoid the trade on d5 now and goes with the move nf6, probably a mistake over here, and after castle, white goes queen e2. You will see this game as a huge resemblance to the last lesson, where we saw a6 and a4 was played, and the knight from c6, b4 jumped to d5. Here too the knight will try to go to d5, but for that he has to go now nd7, idea nb6 followed by nd5. So very similar play, but there is no a6 and a4. And white also uses a similar plan. So rook d1, nb6, and in the previous lesson we saw the move bb3. Today we see white going bd3 and trying to use his bishops to attack on the h7 and the h6 squares. So basically white wants to force black to play either h6 or g6 and use the weakness on the king side. This is a great plan. I like this plan, and I have been playing Panopotwinic attack, c3 Sicilian, mainly to get into these kind of positions, and it has given me good results as well. So knight d5, knight e5, bd7. White wants to simply transfer his pieces to the king side. So see, bishop c2, qd3 is a plan. Again it's slower. There comes nb4. White has to waste move with a3. So white goes directly queen f3. See, the queen is heading to h3 now. Last lesson we saw the rook lift, rook coming to the h3 or the g3 squares. Today we want the pawns to move in front of the black king. Black plays rook c8, trying to put pressure on c3, and white goes queen h3, simply ignoring, because see, knight c3 bc, rook c3 is not possible due to bishop h7 check, and the c3 rook is lost. If black tries to go bc6, then bishop g5, h6, this is another typical idea, and see, bh6, gh, queen h6. Position is simply winning. See, the threat is ng4. Both the knights will be destroyed one by one. After see, knight d5, knight f6, and mate follows on h7. The very important mating pattern would be, see, after rook e8 and d4, first we take on d5, then on f6, then bf6, then bishop and queen mating pattern, bh7, king h8, bg6, kg8, qh7, king f8, qf7 mates. So these type of mating patterns are very important. See, this is what we get to use and learn through these examples. Let's go to the game now. Black went nc3 bc. Of course, idea is to not take on c3. He goes bishop a4, attacks the rook first. So re1, rook e8, making space for the king, and also the bishop gets placed on f8. Bishop g5, all as per the plan. And here, black has to choose between g6 and h6. I feel that both the positions are not at all great. Let me show you the idea with g6. In the game, black played h6. See, after g6, there are many ways. One is just protect c3, transfer the rook slowly, use the weakness of h6, maybe go rook e3. But here see, nf7 is very much possible. See, the queen and the rook are eyeing the e6 square, and once in my Tarash game also as black I got such a tactic. There I was black and I could play nf2. See the idea. nf7, kf7, bishop f6, bishop f6, queen takes h7, and see, after bg7 here white has bg6, king f8, bishop e8, queen e8, rook e3. Most likely the position is winning for white. And even after the move king f8, I feel that bg6 should get very good play for the piece. In the game, black went h6 with a different idea, though many people think that bh6 was missed by black, but it's not so. He wanted to play rook c3 here. Let me show you. After g takes h6, it looks like white wants to go queen h6, but he has the even stronger rook e3. Now the threat is the rook g3 check. So h5 forced, rook g3 check, king f8, and here comes rook f3. White's attack is decisive. He wants to go rook f6 followed by queen h5. And there was another threat as well. Let's say after bd6, white has the much superior queen h5. See, this kind of mating finish is the key to successful attack, I would say. Now see, after nh5, there is a forced mate after rook f7 check, kg8, bh7 check, king h8, knight g6 mate. What a pattern! It's worth remembering such ideas. Thus after queen h5, bishop e5 forced. Now comes queen h6 check, ke7, and just d takes e5. And white is winning. Several threats are there. After the knight move, queen h4 check, even the bishop on a4 can be taken. So let's go back to the game now. So after bishop h6 in the game, black went rook takes c3, and now see bishop g7, forcing kg7, and now once again rook e3. Idea is very similar. Right now the threat is rook g3, king f8, queen h6 mate. So rook takes d3, rook takes d3, bishop c2, trying to block with the bishop, rook g3 check, bishop g6, and the key moment of the game, what would you do as white? White must have definitely seen this before the onslaught. Anyways, he has compensation for rook and two pieces. There is a pawn also, plus the king is not safe. So white must have felt that he is doing great here. Even see knight g6 followed by qe6 is there. But white has a forced queen over here because rook takes g6, see g6 is the weakness, f takes g6, and simply he attacks the g6 square with qg3. Now see, queen g6 is almost winning by force. Black was rook f8, queen g6 check, king h8, and now rook d1. The rook is coming from d3 to h3. The rook lift once again. After bd6, white wins by force after queen h6 check, knight h7, knight g6 check, kg8, knight takes f8, knight takes f8, and the very strong d5. After ed, queen h5 followed by queen d5, and white should win in that endgame as well because bishop and knight versus rook. But see, there are three fast pawns, so white should win very easily. Black tried queen e8 after rook d1, and now comes rook b1. So b6 and rook b3. Now threat is rook h3. So queen takes g6 forced, knight g6, kg7, knight takes e7, kf7, and knight simply goes to c6. The dust has settled, and see, it's time for black to resign, which is what black did. He's simply 2 pawns down. White can start pushing his pawns on the king side soon. So today we discussed fourth factor where we use attack by the bishops on the h6 or the g6 square. I hope you found this lesson useful and instructive. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.